If you were going to create a silk screen printed t-shirt, you would start by creating a design. Once you have your design, you would scan it or take a picture of it and put it in your computer. You would open it in a photo editing software and clear it of any extra spots, and so that way it's only black and white with no extra shades of gray. Next, you have to change the preferences and set it so that way it can be printed on a transparent piece of paper. What we're doing here is we're creating a positive. It's like in photography you'd be creating a negative, but this is a positive. Once you have your film created, you should start making your screen. Here is our darkroom, and it holds light-sensitive screens that hardens under light. You could make one of these light-sensitive screens on your own, but it would be kind of difficult because you'd have to make the frame and stretch out some silk over the screen and then paint this light-sensitive chemical over it. We're going to put the screen into this machine with the positive on top of it. This machine's called the UV light exposure unit, and this will shoot UV rays into the screen and harden the chemical around the positive. This will make it so everywhere around the positive or the little transparent piece of paper with your design on it, everywhere around that will harden, and then the place under it will be soft and still kind of wet. The UV light exposure unit has a mercury light bulb under it, and there's a very powerful light that's shooting light through the mercury bulb, making it have UV rays coming out of it. And it's a very expensive piece of equipment because it also is pressurized, so where the screen's sitting is in a pressurized cabin as it's being shot light at. This machine is also very loud when it's working, so this is what it sounds like. After it's been in the exposure unit for about 10 minutes, you should take it out and remove the positive. After that, you should then shoot the screen with water. Like right here we have a power hose, and it's gonna wash out the soft spots that the positive blocked. After you're done shooting it out, you can put it up to a light, and then you can see how the light will go through the holes that you shot out with the power hose. Next, you have to let it dry for a while, because after you shoot it out, it's all wet from the water. So here it's drying. Next, as you can see here, this is a $6,000 piece of equipment, one of the best tools I've ever used. It's kind of fun to play with. This tool is helpful for screen printing. It's not mandatory to have it, but it's very helpful. And right here we're strapping on the screen and aligning it to the little pad, so that way it's like the right direction. So when you're printing it, it's angled correctly, so that way the screen is positioned right. Then here we're tightening it in, so that way it doesn't fall out of the machine. Next we have to choose our paint. Right here I chose a blue paint. And then once you have that, you have to get your own squeegee. And then you put the ink over the screen. And what's going to happen is the ink's going to go through the little holes that light could go through, and it's going to then be pressed onto the shirt. Right here I chose a pink shirt, don't really know why. And we're going to press the screen onto it, so that way there's no room except for the ink. And then we're going to press the ink screen like here, and then it's going to be on the shirt. We printed it one more time, this time on a baseball shirt. That way the contrast will be a little better. After your shirt has been pressed through with ink, it has to go through a really hot heater because the ink that we have here is an acrylic, so it's made of plastic, and it won't just dry on its own. It'll still be wet for a long time, so it has to go under extreme heats, so that way it can heat up and harden on the shirt. Right here, this is a moving conveyor belt that goes under a heating press, and we put 2 shirts under it, and it's going to heat both of them up really hot. The science of t-shirt printing is when the electricity goes through the UV light exposure unit and it shoots through a mercury bulb to harden the mesh on the silk screen. Also, it's the pressure as you press ink through the screen onto a t-shirt. And lastly is the part where the acrylic ink on the t-shirt hardens under infrared heat. Our infrared heater can go up to 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, which will definitely heat the acrylic paint.